this is probably your first time on my channel, yet for some reason you click and you're watching this video, this is your sign to go all in. And I'm going to tell you some internal and external reasons. With internal, I'm going to tell you about how I ended up making over $125 million. And with the external side, what's happening in the external climate, which makes it necessary, not optional, but absolutely necessary for you to go all in today's economy. Okay, so internal, right? You've been thinking about going all in, like an athlete, where you're fully focused towards achieving that one outcome and having this almost military type of discipline towards achieving your goal. Whether that's to grow your personal brand, becoming an entrepreneur, starting your own side quest, side business, and you've been thinking about it, right? And you still haven't done that. So I'll tell you a few things with my life personally as well. When I started my very first business, the one I started in a situation where my parents weren't making that much money. Combined income less than $70,000, both my mom and dad combined. My siblings, all younger than me, so none of them worked as well. So I was the eldest and I have 5 younger siblings. So my parents were providing for 6 kids in Vancouver, BC. This is not Vancouver, by the way, this is Pakistan. I'm in North Kashmir, staying at one of the nicest hotels in the whole country. I'm on a 100-day vacation, and I'm able to do all of this because of what happened back in my very first year of business. I decided to go all in because I realized that you can do anything, but you cannot do everything. And once I understood this concept, I committed 100% towards building my business. And for me at that time, it was my agency. And yes, I grew that agency as a lead gen company. It did $2 million. And then after that, I grew that beyond and got into the creator space, and where we worked with subject matter experts and micro creators. And we grew that to 50 million a year. But none of that would have happened had I not decided to just go all in, man. Just all in before I go to sleep at night, thinking about the 3 things that you're going to do that's going to move you closer towards accomplishing your goal. Just before you go to bed, just think about those 3 things. Once you think about these 3 things, guess what you do when you wake up? You already know the 3 things you're gonna do. Start working on that right in the morning. It's Ramadan right now, so I'm fasting, okay? And one thing that I would do is I would skip breakfast. So I would end up having an intermittent fast. Yes, I would drink water, but when you're not eating food and you're just hyper-focused and you're intermittent fasting, you can just commit towards the work that needs to be done. If you're someone that has a side hustle right now, a few side hustles, you're trying to make a few $100 here, a few $100 there, and you've got a full-time job, that's not something that you should accept. A side hustle is only okay because your main hustle is paying for your bills. But you should have only one side hustle then, and go all in into that one side hustle. Whatever time you get beyond your work, if you've got work, just focus in on that one side hustle and turn that into the main thing. That should be your entire focus for the whole year, okay? So when you do that, the first 90 days are the most challenging because you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to create your client getting system, or you're trying to get traction on YouTube. Whatever it is, just go all in on that. And when you do that, let me tell you about what happened in the next 4 or 5 years of my life. So I started my business back in 2015. And in 2015, I did 6 figures. I did about 100K. I was fortunate. The right things worked for me. I was fortunate because I went all into that one thing, right, towards starting my business. But in 2020, my business did about $25 million. And by 2021, 2022, we did about $50 million per year. But none of that would have happened if I had not gone all in that 1 year. In 2015, when I decided, you know what, I'm going to get off the socials. I'm not going to focus. I'm not going to be on like Instagram, TikTok. Back then, that wasn't like TikTok wasn't there, so I was lucky in that sense. But you still had distractions. You still had YouTube. You still had TV. You still had Facebook. But I'm just going to focus all into this one thing, and I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to burn all bridges. And it was only because of that, because I fixed my internal side. I managed my time properly. I had time blocks. And don't get me wrong, there were still like distractions. You would get distracted here and there, but that was my focus, and I burned all bridges. I had an investment banking degree. Well, I had a finance degree. I was an investment banker. I went from, before I started a business, I had a 100K a year job right out of university. After 100K a year, I got laid off because the economy collapsed, and I ended up having to work at a call center at $15 an hour. And I decided at that point in time, I'm never going to depend on an employer ever again. So I went from a 6-figure job to working at a call center to then deciding I'm going to start my business. And everyone in my life at that time was telling me that, what are you doing? Don't do this thing. This is too risky. Just focus on your career. Once you have a few $100,000 saved up, then start your thing. But none of these guys were millionaires. Whoever was giving me this advice was telling me what they thought, but they didn't have time freedom. They didn't have financial freedom. So I just went all in. I burned all bridges, and I just focused on making my business work. And it wasn't easy. It took a lot of time, but it happened, And I think that from an internal side of things, from my experience, from my anecdote here, you have to almost invest everything into this baby that you're starting to make it blossom. Whether it's your YouTube channel, you want to have 100K subs, you have to go all in into it. right? Now from an external point of view, things, what's happening in the world right now. Do you know the US government just invested $20 billion into Intel to create chips? It's a $20 billion grant for them to be competitive in the world to create computer chips. Visualize that, okay? Visualize $20 billion. So many of us don't think there's enough money to go around. $20 billion grant just handed off to Intel to be competitive. Why? Because AI is taking over, and what do they need? They need chips. So when AI is being developed, $20 billion just got invested into one company to create chips for artificial intelligence, for AI. Well, how much money is Apple investing? How much money is Microsoft investing? How much money is China investing, right? How much money India investing into AI? Hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars are being invested into replacing human intelligence by artificial intelligence. Anyone who's not operating with excellence in whatever they do, they're going to be replaced in the next 2 years. All right, all the mundane tasks are going to be replaced. Anyone who's just being lazy with their art, with what they're doing, they're going to be replaced. And what's going to happen? They're going to be on universal basic income. You're going to be funded. You're basically going to be on welfare by the government, and maybe they'll pay you a decent amount to comply to the rules and regulation and to comply to what they tell you to do, right? So what are you trading for money then? You're trading your freedom for money. And the only people that are going to be free are going to be people that have their own assets. AI is not going to create an asset for you. AI is not going to do that. You want to buy land? AI is not going to do that for you. You want to have property? You want to have a business? AI is not going to create an entire business for you. Yeah, you can use AI in your business. We have an AI company as well, right? You can start an AI business, but you still have to be the one building the asset, whether that's your following, whether that's your business, whether it's like a dental clinic, whatever it might be. You have to do it. You have to go all in to make this happen. If you don't go all in right now, knowing what you know, knowing what you've watched right now, my friend, I'm sorry, but your knowledge is as good as a donkey with a bunch of books, right? Obviously, the donkey's not going to make use of any knowledge, but you might as well be a donkey then as well. I'm sorry, right? So in order to be human, in order to have the freedom that we take for granted, you have to apply the knowledge that you have now. You've already seen. You can't unsee what you've already seen now, right? AI is being built. It's getting smarter every single day. So you have to go all in into building your own asset until you build, or even people with have jobs, right? That's okay. Just be the best you can be in what you want to do. If you're an entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur, just go all in, be the best you can be. Do it with excellence. And when you do that, you'll be fine, You will not be easily replaced. Even if it's, let's say, a sales job. And AI is not going to take over a sales job, which is very relationship based, okay? So hope that helped you. See you on the next one.